It all began with a smell. Not the smell of rot or mold, but something colder, metallic, like the ghost of a breath on a winter window pane. I had just moved into my new apartment, a top floor unit in a building with a dark past. It used to be a hospital. There it was a steel, the neighbors were eerily quiet, and the walls seemed thick enough to swallow any sound, but the vents whispered. At first, I dismissed it as just air pressure, the groans of an old building settling. Then the whispers took shape, forming words. Don't look. I laughed it off, blaming it on stress and the exhaustion of moving. But the whispers grew more insistent, especially at night, repeating that same chilling phrase over and over, don't look. I went to my landlord, hoping for a rational explanation. He just shrugged. Old ducks, he said, waving a dismissive hand. They carry sound from all over. Just ignore it. I tried. I really did. I turned up my music. I ran a fan for white noise. But you can't ignore something that feels like it's watching you. One night I saw it. Frozen in my bed, staring at the grated metal square on the ceiling. I saw a pale, single eye staring back at me from the darkness within. I screamed until my throat was raw. I called the police. They came, they searched, they found nothing. No signs of a break-in, no fingerprints, nothing out of place. Except for one small rusted object they pulled from deep inside the ductwork. It was an old hospital bracelet. The name on it was Dr. Malcolm Vire. Status deceased. Date of death, October 4th, 1973. My blood ran cold. I couldn't let it go. I dug into the history of Dr. Vire. He was a brilliant surgeon, but his brilliance was shadowed by a dark obsession, immortality. Rumors swirled that he performed unspeakable experiments on his patients, trying to trap consciousness to preserve the soul after the body gave out. They said his body was eventually found in the ventilation system of this very building, or at least most of it was. That was it. I had to get out, but the lease was ironclad. The landlord wouldn't budge. You signed the contract, he said, his voice flat. You stay. After that, the whispers changed. They weren't a warning anymore. They were a verdict. You looked. I tried everything to block it out. I covered the vents with heavy tape and furniture. I slept with noise-canceling headphones, a cocoon of silence I prayed would keep me safe. But the eye always returned, somehow clearer, closer, hungrier. Then came the night I'll never forget. I woke up shivering, the room unnaturally cold. My own breath plumed in the air before my face. I looked up. The vent cover was lying on the floor, and a voice, no longer a whisper but a physical presence, breathed directly behind my ear. Now I see you. The next morning, the apartment was empty. Lena was gone. The landlord had the unit sealed for a few days before putting it back on the market. Top floor, you can hear him telling the next prospective tenant, great view, quiet neighbors, and very thick walls. And if you listen closely, in the silence of that empty apartment, you might just hear the vents whisper. And from the darkness within, something blinks. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there and maybe check your vents.